millions of dollars in 4 years, but they don't. All they report is the data. They have no patient data. They have no HIPAA data. They have no sources to show their income. All of their employees are ghosts online. There's not a single person that has a profile online. And then you have her at the school using both middle names with Mrs. Jimenez, and it just makes sense. It just makes sense that would be one of the biggest connections.
Well, wow. I'm gonna have to go through my notes, but I started going through the family of Jimenez, and I do recall a Jones in there. I need to look at it, but there's also some other funny business that I noticed. Because you know how I mentioned that Charlie Kirk had actually been appointed by Trump to be on the board of the Air Force Academy, and there's another name in there that's Dan Clark, some famous inspirational speaker type people, but he's very highly connected. He has pictures with George Bush. He has pictures with a
Sorry about that.
Related to the Kirks, or it's just another person, but I don't know. Seems like a lot of these people are related.
I forgot about this. So it looks like she posted his mom, Tyler Robinson's mom, Amber Jones Robinson. Wait, what's his sister's name? What did you say?
Whose sister?
I thought he said he has a sister. Okay, I might have been wrong. But Amber Jones Robinson is Tyler Robinson's mom. And apparently she raised a picture of her holding a rifle. I'm trying to ask Machiavelli what rifle that is. Maybe it's an M4.
Oh, let me find it.
I think it's an M4. It's not a Scar. M4 probably M4. Yeah, I think it's an M4. She's standing definitely with an American looking. Looks like a military base or something. I can't imagine where that would be. They're standing next to some type of military vehicle. It's tan. It has a bipod front mount. I mean, it's definitely some kind of machine gun, but I don't know what she's holding there. Anyway, I just tried to look up her name real quick, and it's a real gun. So unlike the Halloween costumes that Tyler Robinson's brother wore with the little sniper with the orange tip, she is holding a very real rifle. Oh, and there's a picture of Tyler with a 50 cal. I forgot about these pictures. It's all on his mom's Facebook. So in 2017, that's quite a long time ago. Obviously, he was just a little kid. Yeah, so if you guys just search Amber Robinson, you will get all these pictures. Tyler Robinson's uncle Mikey was mentioned in a social media post in 2017. I'm looking in. Hold on.
Oh.
While you're looking, is it okay if I give my 2 cents real quick? If that's okay.
One sec. I was just gonna say his uncle. You go right away. I was just gonna read his thing. So his uncle is the retired director of Radio Free Ukraine. Wait, hold on. Tyler Robinson's uncle Mikey. I don't understand because it says his thing is retired director of Radio Free Ukraine.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Ukraine keeps popping up as well.
Yeah.
And who's the director of Radio Free Ukraine?
Retired. Mike Robinson. Mike Robinson is apparently Tyler's uncle.
Yeah, there were some rumors going around that his uncle was involved with the Azov battalion.
Yeah, that's what this says. One sec, let me just read it so everybody knows what we're talking about. I'm looking for interest in hosting combat veterans and wounded warriors from the Ukraine 3rd Assault Corps, aka Azov, between now and the end of 2025. Yeah, there you go, guys. to speak about their experiences in the war, tactics, techniques, and procedures, casualty care, combat effectiveness, training, drones, technology on the battlefield, and rehabilitation of wounded warriors. This will require further discussion. Also looking for contacts in Canada interested in helping with visiting Canada during the same period. Uberstung.
Is that from the Facebook?
I don't know. It looks like a Facebook post, but for some
The Ukrainians are saying it's fake and it's Russian propaganda.
They
I don't know
always say that.
But of course the Ukrainians would say that. But I wanted to look into it further, but I couldn't find the actual post. It's probably real, and it was either deleted or it's hidden. But I don't know how they would find it without having access to, his public profile.
There's a picture of his brother Austin holding what looks like to be AR-15, maybe. I could be wrong. I think it's an AR-15 something. Okay. I mean, everybody just pulled in all of the pictures, I guess, that were somewhat obvious.
By the way, that school, UVU, has had a consortium agreement with Kiev, the Kiev College of Hotel Management, and some other college since 1994. So they actually.
I wonder if Arcus.
By the way, I guess the Mike Robinson who posted that, the same one who made that. Oh, so he's a real person, but he himself posted on Facebook, "I'm looking for a lawyer to bring legal action against social media entities that are falsely accusing me as being the Mormon MAGA moron psycho killer's dear uncle Mikey Robinson. They accuse me of training snipers in Ukraine. That is not only an intentional lie to hurt my reputation, and it will also intentionally put my life and family in fear of our safety and life. Several journalists have already contacted me. Time for Trump tactics. See them in court." So there is a real Mike Robinson, just not his uncle.
By the way,
I guess that was incorrect.
Just a Gentile pulling through again. I just put it up in the nest, a post of Amber Jones Robinson and talking about Uncle Mikey and some crazy gun.
All right, let's let Dave hop.
Is that what we're talking about?
What? Which one?
I just posted it up in the nest.
Hold on, I'm trying to do a grok. They're all being labeled graphic. So that's what? Ooh, looks like. Oh yeah. So that's some kind of shot show. I think that's an AR-15 with a grenade launcher attachment. And then he's holding. That's probably an M4. Well, I just.
What is it? What does the caption say? And his 8-year countdown started, and it's from June of 2017, 8 years ago.
Yeah, it's would be this year the countdown ending, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I guess to 18.
What's that talking about? Good catch.
So he probably turns 18 this year.
This shit's weird.
So maybe that was his birthday. Oh, it looks like could be like a little party or something. Maybe his birthday is June 11th. So yeah, I guess maybe that countdown has concluded. Interesting. Yeah, thanks for that.
Also, who the hell is Logan?
Logan was in heaven and has his 8-year countdown started. Logan was in heaven. Oh, in heaven. It means he was like having a really great time.
Oh, like the kid's name is Logan. Got it.
Yeah. I asked if there are any electro-optic sight systems deployed in Ukraine, and it said, Arcus, it said no. But it says numerous electro-optical systems, devices using light for detection, imaging, and targeting and guidance have been deployed in Ukraine since Russia's full-scale invasion. They're used in drones, surveillance, air defense. Alright, so I just don't know if they're using the ones that are like maybe the helmets. Let's see, any Elbit products? Go ahead, Dave, you can go.
First of all, thanks for having me, and it's been nice listening to this group of rational people, and I don't hear it a lot in other spaces, but I'm not going to add to the Charlie Kirk stuff. I don't know too much like other people do, and it's just a talking point that's being dragged through the mud right now. But for me, I find it really interesting that, whether Republican or Democrat, like, especially, I'm gonna start with the Republican Party first. Like, they will laser focus in on Charlie Kirk and like specific issues relating to him and like free speech, yada yada yada. Even though they're hypocrites. But for me, what's frustrating is, so there's one issue that we don't talk about enough on the alternate media side and on the mainstream media side. It's healthcare. I used to work for a health insurance company, and I know the horrors of our healthcare system, and it sickens me that there aren't a lot of people talking about it in the media. But it just goes to show that we should be talking more about issues related to healthcare than whatever happened to somebody named Charlie Kirk. Because at the end of the day,
I'm going to adamantly, incredibly disagree with you. Healthcare is an issue for sure, but this is a person who was assassinated at a school, and nobody is interested in finding who did it.
Okay.
Well,
I'm just going to finish my point real quick.
The irony of what you're saying is that the same people that probably killed Charlie Kirk are also involved with what they did in healthcare. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to finish my point real quick. My point is that I feel like, I'm not singling anybody out in this chat for saying this, by the way. I feel like just as a whole country, like, I feel like we try to focus on things that divide it. Like, Republicans will focus on things like, oh, Democrats are against free speech, and then Democrats say, oh, they're against this and that. I feel like if we all came together on like the real issues, like universal child care, healthcare, college, the issues that are hurting average Americans, like, I think that's more important at the end of the day, because we all have had family members that have been hurt by this awful healthcare system. I've seen people die that did not get preventive treatment, die of liver failure, and it makes me sad the more I think about it. And I feel like the oligarchs in this country are celebrating right now because they said, hey, we're going to distract everybody with this Charlie Kirk stuff, and we're still going to profit off of people by charging them insanely high premiums going into this open enrollment period and continue to price gouge them on healthcare. And
yeah, okay, cool.
I think
Well,
if
you haven't forgotten about that.
He has a couple of Jew simp posts, by the way. He says
dude, I'm not
John
even gonna,
Shapiro got fucked by his own party for being Jewish, rightfully so, though. I mean, I'm adding the rightfully so he's a Jew simp. He also wrote another thing about, I don't know, some candidate, I forget who it was, already stating his commitment to the Jews.
Just so you guys know, part of this was actually to trigger all the Jews, because I'm calling it the Crimson Menorah, mostly because it looks like a menorah where Charlie's crimson blood was spilled by the fucking gallon, and nobody seems to give a shit, and we're talking about health premiums. Bro, yeah, people get sick and they die, and our horrible healthcare system that's it's not actually that horrible, it's not the best, but it's pretty good, and yeah, it's very expensive and unobtainium for a lot of people, but yeah, we do have a healthcare system. I've worked, I spent a lot of time in it. I know the fucking follies of our healthcare system. I get it, but potentially foreign intelligence operatives staging a political assassination on a college campus in the United States is not something to glaze over lightly and say, well, it's just the rich guys doing rich guy things, so we don't talk about healthcare premiums, and we just talk about the fact that they ritualistically, brutally murdered a man in front of 3,000 students, or 3,000 people at the event. I get it, bro, but I am not listen, there is a title in the space for a reason. It doesn't say open mic. It doesn't say talk about what the fuck you want. We're trying to piece shit together, and a lot of people do appreciate it. I'm just gonna put it out there. You don't appreciate it, you want to talk about healthcare, brother, you go in the lower right, you long press it, start the space, name it healthcare is bullshit, and go ahead, have fun, man. I understand. See, Mialian's point, or Sean's point, is quite good, because a lot of the problems stem from, it's a symptom of a lot of anything we're seeing, because we cannot trust the people who actually get into the levers of power to do justice to their causes. Look at RFK, oh, it causes autism and this and that, right, it's evil. And then he signs off on more mRNA bullshit. It's crazy. And there's nobody there to stop it. That was your whole point. I don't care if he did a day of work, except just stop mRNA gene therapies from being accepted as having some kind of medical utility. They don't. They suck. They're incredibly dangerous. Get rid of the fucking thimerosal and all that. But bottom line, Same reason they don't want to investigate Charlie, and they're going to close this investigation before they even have a shred of evidence that Tyler was even on the roof that day. That is egregious and ridiculous. So yeah, man, I really wish you luck, and I hope the healthcare thing does change. It is bad, but yeah, we're not gonna LARP like this isn't an issue. This is a big issue.
Yeah, well, if we're gonna bring it back home, Mitt Romney and Bain Capital, they were heavily involved in like covering up a lot of the COVID bullshit. So, yeah, don't think we haven't forgotten. It always leads back to the same, excuse my French, fucking people. So, you want to stack, like, all we're doing is stacking up the evidence and the complicity of like these disgusting crimes. So
look, there's a reason they only went after Epstein on one thing, and that was the pedophilia angle. That's it, because that was egregious enough for people to actually give a shit. So like when he was accused of it, some lawyer somewhere actually took it seriously and said this guy should be in jail for the rest of his life. And then he starts getting victim testimony after victim testimony, realizes it's hundreds of people, he's going away to jail forever, and then gets 13 months, basically doesn't even have to be in jail the entire time, and has his own little private wing. Like crazy shit, right? And then never gets investigated for the other crimes, which was working with known arms traffickers, the biggest arms traffickers on this planet, by the way, and finding ways to shelter money and avoid taxes and doing all this crazy stuff. Nobody even, that was never even looked into, even though it's also an enormous crime. It's a crime with devastating repercussions for our society. So look, we have to start somewhere. And if the cudgel here, the leverage point that we have is that this is a murder. Murders do not have statutes of limitations. Like, at least financial crime and some things they do, right after a certain period of time. It's like, well, there's nothing you do about it. But murders do not have a statute of limitations. So if we can try to get as much out there as soon as possible, we might have a chance of actually holding at least someone who was involved with this accountable. And that's what we keep pointing to is like, let's look around the organization, let's look at the school, and it all comes back red flags, red flag after red flag. So yeah, I know that's not the only issue in the world plaguing our society, but at least this one has the potential where we can hold someone truly accountable for what happened here. If this is foreign intelligence coming in, running ops because their donors are unhappy with the amount of sales they're getting because Trump isn't, trying to go to war with Iran right now or some shit, who knows? That's a potential. We have to get that out. We have to. And then we can talk about healthcare next week because, that shit's not going to change anytime soon either. I think Stephanie's new here. Hey, Stephanie.
Hey, what's up? Nice to see you. I have a question that has just been bugging me since the very beginning. It's kind of a broad, an overarching, I guess, question. But the one thing you did say as a side note about Erica Kirk, I want to believe that love story so much. But one thing I will say that did bother me was the memorial card for the event. It didn't even have a picture of Charlie on it at all. I thought that was so tacky. It was just Trump, Vance, and Erica. It looked like a rally or something. It's I was just and whether or not that was somebody egregiously tacky at TPUSA that did that, I don't think, the White House or maybe even Erica approved it. I mean, I'm sure the hell I would play it. I just want to point that out. I thought that was so tacky.
You're right on.
His name wasn't even on there. It was
tacky.
It was horrible. I mean, I'm still pissed off about it. I was like, his picture's not even on there. It's it should have had just his picture on the front and all the people in the back speaking. I don't know. I just thought that was terrible. I surely hope that she did not approve that. So this is what's been bothering me since day one, since minute one, honestly. And number one, Charlie Kirk is dead. Okay. Who knows who else is involved, but I just don't think he did it himself or whatever. Now, was it his furry boyfriend? Is it the CIA? Is it BB? There's so many weird things that went on that could be red herrings. But going back to the actual moment, it's I haven't seen anything that anyone has questioned or talked to his private security firm. When I looked at that and saw the furry, hindsight, of course, but Charlie Kirk had death threats for months, if not years. Okay, so he had private security. TPOSA certainly could have afforded, a decent one. This was not their first rodeo. They've done these big outdoor events. The shooting itself, if it really went down the way that they're saying it did, it almost was identical to the Butler incident. Okay, why in the hell did nobody from his security team even have eyes on the rooftops? That is just like a no-brainer to me. It's almost like, is it that egregiously that they just were that inept, or was it on purpose? So, and it's not just them. The local cops and everything. Just to me, the entire thing is so bizarre. It's like either all of the above was completely inept, the way that they acted and reacted after. I didn't see them try to question anybody in the crowd. They were just like, everybody clear out. The fact that the crime scene was hardly taped off. They're walking all over the blood on the ground, within an hour, and the guy standing on the chair,
5 minutes,
with
bro.
the CCTV. So this is my real question. Number one, the private security seems sus as fuck. I truly don't understand how they didn't have eyes on the roof. I don't know. I just think that would have been a no-brainer, especially from what happened with Trump. I mean, honestly, it was almost identical. But why are they only focused on the video of, like, right when the event happened and after? To me, that school has CCTV probably every angle, everywhere. They need to be looking back at not just the day of, the morning of, the 24 hours before, the week before. It does not make sense that this kid is gonna just I'm gonna stroll up during this crowd with a gun in my leg pant, whatever. I mean, that to me, that just is such a chance. It seems like he would have either planted if it were me, I would have planted the gun on the roof like the night before and been like, okay, if they find it, they can't trace it. I failed, no harm, no foul. But to take the chance to walk up, if this is how it went down, with it on his body and try to stroll through the crowds of people who any one of those people could say, hey, that dude looks kind of strange. What's that in his leg, that's one thing. It doesn't make sense. To me, it would seem like the guy would have been up there, whoever put it. I think this kid's involved. Either he's the patsy, the scapegoat. He may have been one of 3 people that were supposedly, who knows? I have not. Has anybody heard them talk about really questioning his private security team? 1 and 2. What about all these different CCTV videos from even a week up to 2 weeks before? I know it would take them a good month or so to really look through it, but there had to be something that went on that would look suspicious. They could maybe have seen somebody doing something beforehand or scoping it out or whatever. That to me right there, closing the investigation before they've really thoroughly gone through those things, is very weird. And I just haven't heard anybody talk about it.
Yeah, it's difficult to imagine. We're thinking maybe they're closing the FBI's investigation into it and they're going to let the state try to handle it and figure it out. They said that they have more information that they're just not disclosing to us, the public. Now, did they just go through it and just sort of, remove, basically redact anything that was substantial, and then they're just going to hand that all over to the state? Because the evidence has all been going to the FBI, I believe that's how that works right now. So I don't know. It's 2 weeks later. They had all we've heard, they did more in the first 33 hours than they've done in the basically 2 weeks, right? Almost 2 weeks since then. We know there are cameras on those buildings. We know they are of high quality. We know the systems were upgraded, the security systems were upgraded in 2024. Utah, as a state, allocated millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars, to retrofitting the securities on campus. Utah State University as well as UVU. So yeah, even the video we got, it was clipped a certain way where you wouldn't see the first few or maybe second or 2-3 seconds of him getting up from position and beginning to run, because I'm sure that 2 or 3 seconds would show that he did not lift a rifle with him, and the rest of it you can see there's weird shadow issues, there's just anomalies. Is it AI? Like, I don't know about that video at all at this point. The weird thing we got from Candace yesterday, from the person who allegedly took the video of the silhouette on the roof from the side, right from the walkway, he said it was a totally different description of what he saw. I don't know if we believe that guy at all. He seems a little crazy, the guy who took the video. But he says that the person on the roof was wearing a face mask, in tactical gear, looked like an assassin or some kind of a foreign agent. And those were his words. Are they messing with Candace? Are they just like feeding her bullshit? Is she just like saying bullshit? I don't know if it's intentional or not, but yeah, I mean, she's just like very thirsty for details. But so far, pretty much no CCTV footage has been released to us, or like very minimal stuff, like totally like inconsequential things, and it's just the only thing we've gotten are things that directly confirm the bullshit narrative that everyone knows is bullshit. Tyler Robinson was the solo shooter, and his ideology was somehow left-leaning or trans-affiliated. Like, there's just nothing even radical about this person's past. I don't know, maybe leaning,
Exactly.
like maybe, but that's not the same as radical. Like, radical is like going to rallies, like crazy t-shirts, posting insane memes, like stuff, like, it leaves a trail. There's no trail.
Right, and who knows? I mean, that could all be true. It just makes no sense to me. If you're going to do something like that, to take all the chances and be like, okay, I'm going to stroll up there the morning of. There has to be some sort of, especially the 24 hours before, especially if they're looking at other angles and saying that another group or other people were involved, which I just don't think it makes sense that this kid did it by himself. But anyway, yeah, there's got to be so much more there. Maybe they're not, I'm sure they're not releasing everything, even, what other theories to the public. But like I said, I have not heard one thing about them even questioning anybody on a security team. If nothing else, they should be reprimanded for dropping the ball big time. I mean, I'm sorry, to not even have one person looking at the rooftops, that just makes no sense to me at all. But I just think there's got to be more on any of those surveillance cameras from at least the night before, the day before, even the weeks before, that could really, maybe produce some answers, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, to add to what you're saying, I mean, I totally agree that, why can't we see any of that? Well, because there's some sort of stand-down order. They didn't follow their protocols for active shooter, emergency circumstance or situations. And another thing, which is apparently a security system that is prevalent at Utah State and UVU, because even UVU posts the security protocol from Utah State. They apparently have the same sort of thing. And that all of the students, staff, everyone on campus is supposed to get an alert, sort of like an Amber Alert, on their phones for when there is an emergency situation. Did we see that? No, we didn't. So who gave that stand down order? Who else was there? The whole thing stinks.
They didn't even tape it off with crime scene tape, y'all. That is egregious as hell. I mean, I still can't believe it. I still can't believe it.
And this is how crazy it is. So they put one sad little flap of tape on the roof. You see the drone footage. They put one sad little string. It's just like flailing in the wind up there, just like as the drone is going by. They put a guard on the top of the fountain steps, like, top of the tiers, and that's it. They put up the banisters kind of to make it seem like, hey, don't come here, right? But it was all the way on the ground. There's nothing in the back. The back is the access, and the only place they put the only guard we saw was one in the front. There was probably one in the under the walkway, in the back too. But that was it. They don't even tape it off. And the next day they come up and remodel it.
Not
Like
just
that
that.
takes planning too.
It's just disrespectful. I mean, really, honestly, even if it's not even for crime scene purposes, to be walking on the grass over the blood and standing on the chair he just got shot in, I cannot believe people are that stupid. It's almost like they did it on purpose. I can't get over it.
Yeah, and this is what we're trying to do. We're going to try to make a list. We should make like a tier tree or something, because we have to start like bucketing people. Like, they're the people who are innocent. They had no idea what was going to happen. They had nothing to do with it. No knowledge, no forewarning, no knowledge, nothing. Right? Someone who's totally unrelated. Maybe they like witnessed it. Right? So someone who's innocent, maybe a witness. Right? That sort of tier. Then we have someone who'd been informed. Like, they didn't know what exactly what was going to happen, but they knew something was coming. I think Erica is at least in that category. I also think Andrew is at least in that category, maybe worse. So we have the innocent or witnesses, we have the informed, the complicit, and then the killers. We have to start putting people in the basket, because right now we have a 0 for killers. 0, absolutely 0.
Yeah.
For complicit, I think we have a couple of names in there. I think we have the Tyrell guy, because he's complicit in the cover-up. That's the guy with the SD cards. Putting your name on the list, buddy. I honestly think Andrew's complicit. I can't prove that Erica would have known more than just like, there's a big change coming and we need you to be like ready to kind of carry the torch, because we're going to put your name on all of the documents now. So she must have been informed, at least. I think her trail, her naming of her podcast, her weird posts on the day, just hours before, even though she wasn't at the event even. Very crazy. So I'm putting Erica there. And we're just going to go down the list, and we're going to start putting people like into the categories they belong to until we get to know who killed him. Who killed him? Was there a weapon system used? Was there what? All we know is that we have a really long list of retards. A long list of retards. Like Cash Patel, you are on the retard list, buddy. Like, you've probably, like, at this point, you might have to be in the complicit list. You know, informed was Tuminez informed, because she almost knew. Like, I'm saying maybe she wasn't informed like a long time prior, but it seems like she was given some kind of justification of not locking things down. They did shut down the school for 3 days, so it was closed from the 10th to the 14th. They closed the campus, and obviously in that time they pretty much did whatever they wanted to the crime scene. So I don't know, like, as the FBI complicit at this point, they'd have to be more just informed, because they actually took actions. I know Tyler, I don't know, maybe we need another fucking category here, because where does Tyler fit in? Is he complicit? Is he informed? Is he innocent? Yeah, he didn't kill him. We know that. He didn't shoot from that roof. That's what the weirdest part was of that testimony that Candace got. Like, I would have somewhat maybe believed it, or like take it in for weight, if he didn't say the guy shot him with a 22 rifle or something like that. And if he's saying it's a much shorter rifle, like, well, what would be much shorter? Like, just like a regular AR, like a smaller platform. There's still, at 200 yards, you can hit him with a handgun. Like, it's not, you don't even need a long gun. So, like, because he said that he saw a shorter rifle, where's the shorter rifle then? It just doesn't make any sense what that guy said. So I don't know where to figure it out. But anyway, we're going to try to like prosecute this list and see where we land. We just got to start putting names down. You know, I don't think Candace was informed. I don't think Candace was. What about the security? What about Dan Flood? Is that his name? Dan Flood, right? Dan?
Yeah, his security team to me is a place to start. Somebody, to me, had to know something. If it's not just one of them, I don't know. I haven't even seen a list of the whole security team, but I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Oh, I got that covered. I'll put it up in the nest.
By the way, guys, we have.
By the way, there's Butler overlap.
We'll let Chad hop in a second, but I do have a clip here from. Oh, it's just happened, or actually, it's happening now. So Nick Fuentes is on with Harrison Smith, and he's asking him about. This would have been Owen's show, and he's asking him about the whole like who you think did it, Israel stuff. So we'll just listen to his answer. But let's let Chad hop in. And what was the other hand that we had up? Who was it? John, do you see the other hand?
I think True MAGA. No, I don't see
was
it.
hand. All right, let's let Chad hop in. Chad, what's up, brother?
I can drop down. Thanks for having me
No
speak.
worries.
I'm just gonna listen and thank.
Cool,
Stephanie,
thank you,
check
Stephanie.
out what's in the nest. I put the security team up there.
God, you're
Awesome,
crushing my
thank
nest
you.
again, aren't you? Just make a thread and just put it there because it's just so hard, please. The nest already has, like, a lot. But go ahead. Chad, do you want to weigh in?
Yeah, I was just saying I started putting some images in the pill. I'm going to run a full depending on which algorithm I feel is better, I'm gonna run a full list and make a PDF file, so it's just like you said, like dumping them all in there, sorting everything out to make connections. And then what was the second thing? I can't really remember. So two things real quick. The first thing is like that dude that came out who was talking about healthcare. I think it's important to like understand like healthcare and poverty and everything else. It's very important. And I think everyone understands that. But I believe that we have a moral obligation. I'm not going to say spiritual. Not everyone's spiritual, but we do have a moral obligation. It's inherent as a society. I mean, we can't be efficient and not get justice. Efficiency over justice never works. So we have to investigate this. We can't have it sidelined because we sideline it because we think healthcare is more urgent or whatever the issue may be. The precedent changes and it becomes extremely dangerous. And the precedent becomes that the truth doesn't matter anymore. It's not worth pursuing. And that a murder doesn't matter anymore. We're desensitized. It's not worth pursuing. So I understand the healthcare stuff, and I'm happy to debate in the future. I'm sure everyone else is on their respective channels, but pursuing justice in this murder case is hyper important because now is crunch time, and Trillian has made it so that everyone else can be informed and help him and everyone else that contributes to be ahead of the curve. So just so people understand, and it's not like a meme thing. It's just a matter of import. And the last thing is that there was a shooting today, and the kid wrote. So what they said was engraved. It was anti-ice on the bullet, but it's a Sharpie. All right, it's a blue Sharpie. I'm trying not to curse. So they have this shooting at ICE today. The kid offs himself, but he wrote on blue on the bullets on a blue Sharpie anti-ice. But they used specifically the term engraved. Cash Patel used engraved. So if that's what they're calling engraved, because you have to draw from inference, right? And think in abstract. That's what they're saying is an engraving. And then the bullets that they're saying that Tyler Robinson had, they didn't necessarily have to be engraved. They could have been a Sharpie. So this case is absolutely bonkers, and I believe Trillian, Lou, those are the people that I know have been here. They co-host all the time before I got here, and they've had some really, really good angles and understanding of what's going on, and they try to be fact-based. This is just for the people, down there listening. So I would listen to the facts. I would listen to the theories. You can always come up with your own, but what I'm saying is the theories that have been concocted here make sense, and there's fact-based things that make sense. There's deep research going on, from myself included, and it makes sense, and it's trying to make connections where people would otherwise not see them. So I don't think it's a dismissal, and I'm not speaking for Trillian, I'm speaking for myself, but I believe that this is all-encompassing, that it's not a dismissal of the issues that are currently prevalent in society. They've been there before. They'll be there in the future. But this is something that isn't before in the future type. This just happened, and it's very important to set a precedent of truth and inquisitiveness and understanding. And that's basically what I want to say.
Well said. Absolutely. That's what we're just doing our best. I think it's a popular enough topic that people are coming up and they're still interested. I mean, we have zero resolution to anything. And yeah, like I'm not gonna be able to just, especially what I believe occurred here. It should really make your skin crawl. Like, this is even a possibility. So until I can eliminate the fact that like an advanced piece of tech was had come into that was deployed to that campus for a political assassination at nothing. The crazy thing, this really makes your skin crawl, is that why did they immediately jump to the left-right narrative? Why did they just immediately just trounce that line? Like, now people are telling me, right? So I have this stuff. Of course, the wife will be smeared and demonized. Buckle up against all evil. Stop adding to it, right? I appreciate you, Sissy, Hogue, make whatever the hell your fucking name is, right? All right, listen, okay. We're not. I understand she's being smeared. We're not calling her like fats. We're saying that her reaction is like totally unprecedented for an event like this. All right, that's why we're not just trying to like be mean to her. She's like wearing Masonic rings. We see how the situation unfolded. It's all very rite and ritual-esque, occultish, whatever. That deserves to be examined. Also quite evil, honestly, like the stuff that I think she's probably involved in. So okay, we are buckling up against evil, the evil of well, anyway, I don't want. We'll get there, right? We'll get there. But yeah, man, I think Chad, great point. What would you say, man? Like, what do you think is the most interesting, like, next piece that will help unlock at least a trajectory here? You know, because that's what I'm realizing. Like, we can come back every single day, rehash, lay it all out. I think we did a pretty good job of like setting a basis of what happened, right? Like, what do you think is like another, you know, like piece of the puzzle that we can get to create some kind of like edge here in narrowing down what happened? Maybe we should ask Grok. Grok, what should we do? Where do we go next? I'm just trying to get onto like another facet that will make sense. All right.
I need to say something really.
I can jump in real quick if you want.
Go let Iman hop in real quick, and then you can give your opinion, of course. Amiro, go ahead, Iman.
Okay. Here's what I did on Perplexity to find out where is the other authorities that we can that can stop the FBI from pursuing the case, and this is what I get. Basically, he said that generally those authorities fall within judicial and executive branches for of government oversight.
Speaking English,
Judicial authority, courts have the power to issue injunctions. I can send the whole thing, but there is also the executive authority. I mean, the president can stop it, and ask for another team to hold the investigations. Maybe this is the next one. This is what we can do for now, which is the congressional oversight. Congress can conduct oversight hearing, issue subpoenas, and control funding for the FBI, which can indirectly influence or limit the FBI activities or priorities. Internal oversight, I think the moral of the story here is now we can start with the Congress. If there is, I think Amanda has said that there is someone in the Congress, and that's why I was saying let's find the Congress members who have no connections with the ABAC. This is what we can practically
That's a good point. Like, so if the left is being blamed, why isn't like AOC and all the others like her? AOC doesn't take money. She has Jewish donors, but she doesn't technically take money from AIPAC. One of the very few that don't. Like, why isn't AOC coming out and saying, "Hey, it's ridiculous to blame the left here. Like, you have no fucking evidence, and the guy's not even like on the left. Like, you don't even know what he is."
They all know that. I mean, that's 20% assumption, 80% definite. Like, they all know what's going on. It's above their pay grade, so they're not going to talk about it.
I know, and it's like we can't even find like, so for example, we could find like a retired CIA guy, right? Some intelligence guy, and then he like someone who probably has a lot of respect.
By the way, private detective have authority. Also, the court can accept the private. Here it says yes. Courts can accept evidence collected over or provided by special detectives or other law enforcement agencies besides FBI. So it means that we should find someone else to maybe say CIA or a
You can't even speak
private
English.
detective. I'm not really sure, but
Well,
trying
no,
to
I
search.
understand. The thing about private detectives, it's like kind of like hiring a lawyer. Like I'm not saying in the legal sense, but they're not cheap. Like good private detectives will cost a lot of money. Like I'm not really looking to go spend like $50K investigating this stuff that we have the government to be able to do that.
Let me tell you, I know that it's very highly paid grade, but if we can connect with his family, his mother and father, I think they are not really poor. Maybe they could help.
I think his parents need to be really left alone. I think his parents are in a lot of danger, and I don't want to get these people killed. Like the murderers are still out there. Like listen, if he was a patsy and they needed him like that guy actually took the shots, a black van, he was just walking around aimlessly. I guarantee there'd be like a bomb in his car. They just do something to eliminate him entirely. Like if he was part of the actual killing and did it, and the nefarious forces that were, he didn't do it alone, it was part of something, they would have found him in about 3 seconds walking away from that campus, gassed him, put him in the back of a fucking van, and that kid would have disappeared off the face of this planet, because that's how they do this shit. They wouldn't have let him run around, go to Dairy Queen, all of that. That's why I know this kid, he didn't do it alone, for sure, even if he was involved, and if he was involved, the consortium, right, the rest of the team would have just taken him out because he's the only person that would link the rest of them back to the crime. That's what I'm saying. Like it's just like they don't. It's amazing that the people who are in law enforcement don't understand how criminals think. I've seen enough movies. No, I'm kidding. But you guys get it, right? Like this is how a criminal operation would go. Get rid of all loose ends. Kid, loose end. Put him in a truck. Bye bye. Right? Like he'd be in the middle of the Salt Lake right now.
No, I agree. I think there's a much better approach that I can offer, and you all tell me if you would like to do it or agree or think about it. But the first thing I'll say is the CIA will do nothing. They will do absolutely nothing. The job of the CIA is not to entertain anything civilians say. They don't even entertain stuff that the FBI says. CIA does the CIA does, and whatever other intelligence agencies agree to do with them. They don't do nothing. They don't care. And I'm telling you that from firsthand experience, not like some third person. I researched this firsthand experience. They're not going to do anything. They don't care. And that's unfortunate, but that's just how it is. So I think the 3-step channels would make sense. So submit it to local law enforcement, of course, in Utah. That's one of the best things we can do now. Are they going to look at it? Probably not. But if we submit the evidence to them, at least we submit it in a secure channel. And after that, we would do schools, independent research repositories, universities, things like that. for-profits, nonprofits, things of that. You submit it for independent research and journalism. Some of these people, most of them will archive your data for you, and they'll keep it secure and archived without saying anything. There's a bunch of watchdog programs and things like that, and you submit it there. So that then secures data. Just in case the law enforcement look at it, then you have the independent research or academia that holds on to the data. And then the third thing after that, you just do what we're doing now. We set up like trillion set. We have set up links and data and a sheet about with everything with a hierarchical, hierarchy, tier-based system of who did what and what evidence we've come up with. We put it on a secure channel, and we multiply the secure channels so it's spread across multiple secure channels. Everyone has a copy of it, including physical copies on USB stick and things of that nature, so everyone has a copy of it. And then you go to people like James O'Keefe, ProPublica, things like that, and we have a dialogue with them, and we keep the running dialogue. We just keep it going, and it's not too loud. And if it's not too loud, we can keep it going, and expose them that way. Then you can come out with a large form to submit to a news publication. And that's basically the way to do it, because the FBI doesn't care. The CIA doesn't care. So who do you go to? Local law enforcement. They may care, but they're under scrutiny from the FBI, or probably under hush orders. The CIA more than likely has absolutely nothing to do with this. If the CIA had anything to do with this, I can tell you what they had to do was, we'll look the other way.
That's probably retarded.
the depth of their involvement. We're just going to look the other way.
Think he knows what the CIA's doing?
Yeah, I mean, those are I think the proper channels to go through, and then it's also for preservation purposes, security purposes, and I think that would work out. And I mean, that's it for me.
Where's your fucking receipts, bro?
Yeah, we're starting to make some lists here. So, again, innocent, informed, complicit, killer. Where do we put George in? I think he's somewhere between informed and complicit. Hard, right? There's a spectrum there. I'm going to say his security was at least informed. Maybe more. Terrell, complicit. Andrew Colvett, complicit. Erica, informed. The witnesses, whatever, those are people giving us videos, but then again, we don't even fucking know. What about that Daniel guy that was cheering around and whatever? Was he informed? Was he fucking complicit? Who stands up and starts jeering when he sees somebody get their head, get shot like that? That's ridiculous. I don't trust his fucking things. I'm putting that fucker in complicit. I think that guy knew what was going to happen there that day. I don't know if he was recording a certain way. I don't know what the fuck he was doing. Usually they're recording. The guy in the kippa, that we'll put him in between. And then we have I have his name. I just don't remember what it is exactly. And then we have the kippa kid that's recording the thing. Kippa kid Cam. I don't know his name. I don't know if we know his name. That person seemed to be pretty informed of what was it seems like that person was sent there, put in the middle, and told to not take his camera off of Charlie Kirk no matter what he saw happen to him, because he doesn't even flinch when he shots. Doesn't even flinch, not when he hears the bang, nothing. That is someone who was told, keep the camera on Charlie no matter what, and he did, and that's how we got that video. I think that video was cropped, by the way. Obviously, it's been passed through so many different downloads and uploads and all of that. I'm not even sure who the originator is. Probably a good idea to figure that out, FBI. But yeah, they're fucking useless. We have the UVU police. We can look at who they are. We can look at the local police. I'm pretty sure that they're going to be there. The sheriff's office will almost definitely be published. The feds, absolutely useless. I don't know if we're going to be able to get the roster. I mean, obviously the buck stops with Cash there. That guy's a retard, and I'll never stop saying that. Cash Patel, you are retarded. All right, then we have the media. The big one is the Deserettes. The Deseret is the big Utah newspaper, kind of like their New York Times. They're the first one. They had reporters there. In fact, they sent 2 instead of one, which is unusual. They would usually only send one reporter to an event like this, but they sent 2 that day. We have their testimony. It's 2 girls, 2 young girls. We have their testimony. So anyway, we have the Deseret as far as like the Utah media. We'll kind of keep looking around there. The TMZ. Why is TMZ involved here? Why is everything coming out through TMZ?
I hate
Just
that.
why? Like, I understand people want to get paid for their footage, but you're not talking about like Paris Hilton crotch shot coming out of the car. Like, you're talking about someone who's murdered. You know, they're the only ones that have fed us any like real, except the rooftop photo, like surveillance camera. And then we have the university stuff, right? Like university staff. They have a faculty senate, by the way, headed by what's that fuck guy's name? Craig Thulin. Craig, Thuiln. I have to look into him. I don't know anything about Greg Thulin. But anyway, he's just the Senate guy. I don't know. But we got to look into the university, too. I mean, everything there stops with Tuminez. She is the president. She makes the calls. We could look at their security people. Like, wonder who's in charge of security. I want to find the Asian
down there. Look at the one moment. Look at the video that I posted in the purple belt down there. It's exactly about what you were now speaking about. They in the shooting time and when they are moving the camera. Look at it.
No.
I don't. My God, John. John replies to Laura Loomer, "You dumb bitch." That goes without saying. I don't see your post.
No, it's under in the chat here.
Yeah, but it'll
the
usually
chat,
be
she
on
chat,
your replies.
she tagged us. It's actually a diligent denizen, whatever, post.
Oh, okay. She put his post. Okay. Oh, I was just looking at this. Yeah, the handoff. Yeah. That's been going around. We'll look at that in 1 second. I'll look at that now, actually. Somebody said, I've been reverse engineering this operation and its clear connections. An operation of this magnitude, the successor has never been chosen by accident. Erica taking the helm of TPUSA is strategic necessity for the perpetrators. Yeah, I absolutely agree. That's why I think she knew. At least informed. They would not allow a multi-million-dollar youth-oriented political organization to fall in the hands of someone who wasn't absolutely vetted, controlled, very controlled, and predictable. The assassination removed a figure who was becoming ideologically unreliable, so installing a controllable asset ensures the organization continues to serve the intended purpose, now with even greater fidelity. So David Oates did a reverse speech analysis, while controversial to the mainstream, has consistently revealed hidden layers of communication that point to trauma-based mind control. Her eerie speech after Charlie's assassination, so soon and strange, feeling staged to many of us. Yeah, I agree. That was analyzed by him, and he found congruency in forward and reverse speech. This is a primary indicator of a monarch programming victim. The core of monarch programming is the creation of disassociated mental compartments, quote-unquote, alters. That's funny, because I was thinking of a name for the little silly community thing. I thought about altered, what was it? Oh, one of the names it said was altered saint or something, because it's like altered reality, right? Like the whole AI stuff, right? Altered reality. Anyway, alters. That's what it's called when you create disassociated mental compartments through extreme trauma. A key programming goal is to create alters whose speech patterns, both forward and reversed, are congruent with their assigned script and role. This creates a seamless, undetectable public persona that is incapable of deviating from its core programming, and the alter really believes to their core what their role is, so it's not her faking anything, she truly believes it. When I saw her, I immediately recognized the princess profile, which is a specific archetype. The princess or drama queen alter is a common controller personality. Completely agree. Yeah, that's good. Good call out. It's designed to charming, charismatic, performative, and emotionally volatile in a way that seems genuine to observers, but is in fact a meticulously crafted tool for manipulation and control. The fairy tales used Alice, Cinderella, Snow White are direct signatures of the programming processes, which often uses these stories as narrative frameworks during the trauma-based conditioning. The flaw in their programming, which was revealed in the reverse speech, is they're not Christian. Yeah, there's nothing Christian about this woman. So they had to make a Christian version. Reverse language sounded Gnostic and esoteric. Yeah, all the rings, all the symbolism, absolutely. There's no female Freemasonry. It's called something else. Like, I mean, there is, but it's something else.
There is like Order of Eastern Star and stuff like that, but like
but that's something. It's not
Freemasonry.
It's congruent to it, but it's not. There's no like Freemasonic lodges that allow women. I just want to point that out. And her symbolism is very Masonic. Anyway, her speech, maybe she's a dude. Maybe she saw. No, I'm kidding. She's not a dude. I don't think. Her speech was melodramatic. She's like Brigitte. She's like Brigitte Macron. Anyway, her speech was melodramatic and crafted like a telenovela, which is not a subjective critique by me. It is a clinical observation of programmed behavior. A genuine, grieving widow's emotions are raw, unpredictable, messy, and often private. A programmed monarch alters performance, is theatrical, narrative-driven, and serves a specific function. The drama is not an expression of inner turmoil. It is a tool of elicit specific reactions. It is a tool to elicit specific reactions. Sympathy, loyalty, trust, and to perfectly act out a pre-written script. The lack of authentic, unpredictable grief is a feature, not a bug. It signifies the presence of a controller, alter, running the program. There were other tells, but this is long enough. I do want to add that this type of operation is never done outside of ritual and the same type of magic working you see with Jack Parsons and Michael Aquino's work. Yeah, it's definitely a great post there. I'll give you a repost. You guys can find it there at the top. It's also in the comments. So I appreciate you saying all those things. There's something like that involved here. Absolutely. That's why I mean she had to have been at least somewhat informed. Maybe she didn't know when, but she was kind of prepared for it. And maybe she is a victim of some kind of a mind control. What we really also need to do, I'll note this down, is we have to find instances of trauma in her life, which there don't appear to be many. We had someone who was Romanian, instances of trauma, and I would actually look into Andrew too. I think they come from the same fucking program, whatever this is. We'll talk about Monarch and stuff, but
you always say you're gonna.
It's a great call out, and I'm gonna add Andrew to the list because they both seem fucked in the head somehow, and they think that what they're doing is normal, and it's the furthest thing from normal. This is not normal. It's not normal. Like, you can somewhat understand Kash Patel. He's retarded and just a fucking jeet, and just doesn't understand what he's like, why he's there, why he's got to say that Epstein didn't do anything. Like, he's just retarded, like blatantly retarded. Yeah. Even his eyebrows don't agree with him. They're all like moving in different directions. But these two, they're relatively young. She's not that young. She's a lot older, relatively older than Charlie. Charlie does not seem to have been part of something like that. Maybe he refused it, maybe something, and that caused Erica to either be very jealous that he was just kind of like a happy-go-lucky guy, right? Very positive, God-fearing, it's all God, right? Like, he just really left it in God's hands, and she clearly was too fucked up to do that. We talked about the thing in Romania, and it became a big scandal there. So she's from, the lady that spoke to us yesterday, she's from Romania. She doesn't live there anymore, but she has family. And she said that scandal of Erica's, whatever it wasn't a charity. It was some kind of a program. It was for orphans. Was it for orphans? Who remembers? John, was it for orphans?
Yeah, it was for orphans, and the lady that was here yesterday said that They actually, some of them are stolen, some both from the parents, and
yeah, and so think about it. Where would you get kids for this crazy Project Monarch, which is like an MK Ultra type program? Well, probably orphans would be a really great target of people to acquire for specifically this program. What about Bryland? Is Bryland another victim of the same shit? Why is he the one getting? He's a young guy. I don't even know. He still has like acne on his face. He doesn't have kids. This isn't the person that you're supposed to take advice from. He's fucking barely got his head out of his own ass, if he even does. Raging Zionist, all this stupid stuff. He's just a dumb kid. And they're trying to get him to become the replacement of Charlie Kirk. Like, well, hold on a second, right? Like, you're getting way too far ahead of yourselves right now. But yeah, that's all on purpose. So I'm gonna add Bryland to our list of trauma victims. Bryland, sorry. Bryland.
I have a paper that I worked on with a bunch of psychiatrists that specifically deals with trauma. I can send it to you so you can get a really deep understanding of it if you want.
Yeah, we're gonna look at this doctor's name real quick. Do we have a hand? Otherwise, I'll go to. By the way, Sully did start a space, but I kind of want to do this for at least a little while longer. Play a couple of clips here, and then maybe we'll hop into the Sully's space. I'm not sure what they're doing. It does say something about. The thing is, like, I like we can keep talking about just Charlie Kirk and the FBI closing the kid, but it's just they want us to stop. You know, they just want us to like not wonder anymore and just say, well, the FBI's not going to get us any new information. We've exhausted all the videos. We've looked through every pixel of every video that we have. Like, what's the point of continuing with this? And I think that's where they want us to get to. So I just don't know how much I can talk specifically about, like, okay, they want to close the case. Of course they want to close the case. Not only do they fuck the entire case up, and I have Adam Cochran's entire thread. It's a 38-part thread of everything that Cash Patel did wrong. God, it's just disgusting. So, you know, we can talk about that stuff too. But yeah, like I said, we'll play a clip here. I'm not sure what. I got Myron's thing up. Myron is playing the Officer Rectum and David Smith Pierce interview, but we've listened to that before. Alright, so this happened just a little while ago, apparently. So Nick Fuentes goes on Patrick Bet David show. He gets him signed up for Minect, which is this thing where you can you add someone like impressive or famous or successful or something to this like index, and then or to their like, you know, what to the app, and then people can pay you thousands of dollars to get your time. And so apparently Nick charges like it's like $5,250 for 15 minute call with Nick Fuentes. What's his name? Patrick charges like $42,000, or it's like $45,000, something in that range, for a 30-minute phone call with Patrick Bet David. $45,000. These people are insane. They've absolutely lost their shit. Like, anyway, I guess Nick has already made Patrick like 30 grand because I guess people really want to talk to Nick that bad. Like, anyway, so he's on the reason I hate that app so much is because now you can't say I never took money from like a foreign entity, because how do you know who's spending $5 grand for 15 minutes of your time? Like, it's like the perfect way to compromise people's integrity, or to like threaten them, or to get them to reveal where they are. Like, who knows? It's a terrible idea, and I'm just so disappointed in Nick that he would like help Patrick Bet David like grow this shitty app. Like, it's a shitty app. It's trash. But anyway, so Nick is on there now. If you guys want to talk to him, it only costs $5 grand. He's on with Harrison Smith on the War Room, Owen's old show, and Harrison asks, who do you think did it? He's probably going to go on and on and on about.
But I want to get into like who you think did it. Your reaction to the reaction to you not blaming Israel, if that makes sense. people have gotten so mad at you and are just ready to throw you under the bus because you don't go with the first, conspiracy theory offered. How do you feel about, the way people are reacting to you? Because I gotta say, it's a little bit ironic, because I think I texted this to you, because the groupers say about us a lot of things I'm hearing about you now. So I feel like maybe you understand some of the frustration that, we at InfoWars, when like we're being called Israel shields, we're like, guys, what the hell's going on? We're just going for the truth. How do you feel about people like saying all this stuff about you?
Well, the timeline was really interesting because, very Christian. It was just like, let's not take up arms and pursue revenge. I said, let's try to be forgiving. Let's try to be intentional about next. Let's try to focus on God and align our attention with God and so on. I didn't even really talk too much about the forensic details of the assassination. I just talked about how we should all respond moving forward. I didn't do a show that Friday. The weekend went by. Sunday, people say, why is Nick Fuentes not talking about the Israel conspiracy? Why has he not said anything? Why is he avoiding it? Why is he covering it up? And I'm standing over here on the phone, covering it up, avoiding it. First of all, it's been 4 days. Second of all, my experience with Charlie Kirk my entire life, hater last month, a demonic Jew hater. So when people started to say there's this Israel connection, my first reaction is, that's ridiculous. He was their biggest advocate. He was their biggest ally. And I understand how he was evolving. Your coverage was unbelievable. And the rumor you heard, he was in fear. So my first reaction, the following day, that Monday, I did the show and I addressed it and I laid it all out. I discussed the ex Blumenthal piece, your coverage of it, every possible piece of evidence that might fit with an Israeli conspiracy. And at the end, I said, I just don't think there's all that much there. I think these things coincided. In other words, it can be true that he was having second thoughts and maybe was defying the Israel lobby on some, but also he was killed by some radical left-wing lunatic. Like, these things can both be true at the same time. I said, I'm unconvinced that they're related because I don't see the connection between them outside of a circumstantial connection. And people said, well, what are you defending Israel now? Now you're covering up. Now you're pivoting. And I said, wait a second, my views on all of this have not changed even slightly. I mean, I'm the same guy I was on September 9th as I was on September 10th. I didn't like Charlie Kirk then. I don't like him now. I thought he was an Israel shill then. I think he's an Israel shill now. I just don't buy it. And for that, I just get this avalanche. Some of it's synthetic, some...
Bro, sorry for the quality of the sound. I have no idea. I closed everything. I don't know why all of a sudden the sound sucks. Maybe try to reinstall some stuff here. I don't even know. I'll try to figure that out in a second though. Sorry about the sound, but basically he's just going to talk about himself and how he doesn't know if there's evidence or whatever. I don't know if there's an answer in here.
We'll jump over here and see what they're talking about.
And absorb it. And for those that maybe find that difficult to wrap their head around, there's also a lot of ugly people in the world. And I say this not to offend anybody, but just look around a room, and depending on which room you're in, you're often not going to be like, wow, look at all the beautiful people. It's just the reality, right? I mean, you go to a beauty pageant, you see a lot of beautiful people. You go to a place where there's a lot of smart people, there are lots of smart people. You walk around randomly in the general public, you're going to get a smattering of not so much. Right? It's an outlier when you see someone and they're surprisingly beautiful. It's also an outlier when somebody's surprisingly intelligent. But when it comes to Dinesh D'Souza, who there he is talking to, I guess, Netanyahu, let's not forget, this is also D'Souza, whose son-in-law, Brandon Gill, LARPs online, the guy's a congressman, LARPs online talking about the importance of preserving Western values and the American dream, and talks about whites being replaced in America while he's married to D'Souza's daughter, who is clearly not white. And look, I don't hold that against him. It is kind of hypocritical. It's also, I guess, kind of antithetical to the things that he says online. And what's my point? D'Souza made his brand and his money as essentially an infotainment guy. And that's what has merged with politics which is merged with Hollywood entertainment and theater. All of our leaders at this point are basically just actors and actresses. There's almost nobody out there that's actually individualistically thinking, that is able to fend off or to fight for any traditional values, because they don't have any. They're reading off a script. If they came into this room and tried to have a debate on why they're doing the things that they're doing, let's say supporting Israel, they wouldn't be able to defend it in a million hours if we gave them that much time. And in 15 minutes, they would do such a poor job, they'd get laughed out of the room. And if you don't believe me, folks, go look at most congressmen and senators' timeline. Look at the responses to their posts. It almost doesn't matter what side they're on.
I lost audio.
Fine. I just say it because the things that they want are those that will go along with the theater. They want to turn it into idiocracy. And if we're unwilling to go along with it, then they're just going to call us hateful bigots. They try to put us into camps at some point in the future while saying it's for our own good, because otherwise we're just domestic terrorists or something along those lines. And so you're exactly right, Khaleesi, and it's wild to me that anybody can buy this. I know there's a lot of MAGA people still totally stuck on the narrative of Donald Trump and him being pro-America and all this. MAGA is MIGA. It's unfortunate to say, but that's the truth. The United States has been completely subverted, completely perverted. It now does that which is antithetical to the benefits and the values of its own people. And I promise, if this does not change course quickly, the Duracell battery that is the United States is going to be run to completion and exhaustion as the Israelis take every last dollar to build every last square foot of Gaza and the rest of their greater Israel project. And they'll do it to make sure that, oh, by the way, once they completely have exhausted all of the benefit and they've moved over there and they've leached all of the companies, all of the AI, all of the tech, and they're ready to set up their new paradise on earth, that the United States and Western Europe is left in such rubble that it'll have no ability for a century to do anything in opposition to that machine. That's what it is trying to do at this point. That's why they want the mass migration. It's not just to remove essentially white people from the face of the earth, which is what I genuinely believe, but it's also to put us in such a place of disarray that we're not at all, because we're just surrounded by idiots that are just that they're given by a piece of tech and AI that's all powered out of, that we're just basically, powering their little day by day, it's a treadmill. So we stay on the hamster wheel, let's think of it. So we can earn just enough credits to get just enough dopamine so we don't put a bullet in our own head from the depression of the world that we find ourselves in a not so distant future, if we don't fix things. But we're going to. And we're going to, because there are people that are still out there that are unwilling to sell their soul, to sell their voice, to sell their loyalty, to sell their allegiance. And every day the people that do, like Officer Tatum or whatever that guy name is, who's basically Officer Talmud at this point, every time they show their hat, right? They show their true intentions. We just should discredit them. Emily Saves Israel can go over there. You're done. You don't have any more credibility. We see you for who you are. You're either on the side of goodness and righteousness and truth, or you're either benefiting from, loyal to, or too dumb to recognize the villain. That's the bifurcation. You're exactly right, Khaleesi. There's no middle ground anymore.
Absolutely. And you know what? I think we should impeach Donald J. Trump simply because he's so stupid. Like, literally, the guy is showing it. It's so painful to listen. I should be nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. I'm the only one that's right. All the countries in the world are wrong. I mean, that United Nations speech yesterday was cringe. Dr. Michael, jump in. And then Dr. Javier, even though Malai, even that profile name is quite triggering, I will come right to you after that.
So I'm sort of happy to hear Ian getting angry, because he's very, very on target when he's angry like this. He's always on target, but I think that it is a time for rage at this point. This is outrageous what's happening. Just as an aside, James O'Keefe interviewed an FBI agent who suggested, in fact, he knows because he worked on the Epstein case, that the operation was headed by the CIA, which means, and for Israel's benefit, he said the U.S. and Israel, but we know what that means, because the CIA is Mossad, There is no distinction between these two. The CIA became Mossad thanks to Angleton, and they turned the CIA into an operation for Israel. And so, Trump's speech was just an outrage, and the idiocy that he talks about Gaza and Israel is just sickening beyond words. I mean, he said he's always been Israel. He's for his whole life, he's been a supporter of Israel. Nothing is going to change that. We're not going to get de-Zionization of the U.S. government under these people. These people are utterly occupying our government. We need the de-Zionization of the United States. And, I'm trying to do my part in that with AZAPAC, AZAPAC. You can find us on the web at aza-pac.com or just search for AZAPAC. We're trying to get rid of all of these infiltrators, this filth, these dual citizen, dual loyalty clowns that are running this country. They have to be removed. There's only one way to make change is you have to, if you want to get rid of something, you have to replace it. So they need to be replaced. And until that day, we're going to continue to see this complete obsequiousness and total servility to the state of Israel. And I say that, when I say Israel, I put it in quotes, not only because I think it's a fictitious state, but also it stands for more than the state, the geographical territory. We're talking about a vast international network, world Jewry, Zionist Jewry in particular, who have, a total grip on the United States government and many other governments as well, the UK especially. But we saw France and Macron speak up against, for the Palestinian state, which I think is, obviously too little, too late, and too nothing, because there's nothing left of the place. I mean, how do you grant statehood to a place that's been utterly obliterated? Now you're going to say they should have a state? They should have said this before they got slaughtered, before everything in their infrastructure was utterly destroyed. But they wait until it's too late to mean anything, and that's what's happened with a lot of these European countries. They're effectively just trying to whitewash their own complicity and guilt in the assassination of hundreds of thousands of people. And so there's going to be a point in which the clash between Israel's interests and the United States' interests are going to be it's going to be so obvious that even the morons that Ian was talking about will be almost impossible. It'll almost be impossible for them to deny. I think that's coming very soon. I think it's openly clear to most of us already. Some of these people are they're under a Hasbro, they're in a Hasbro bubble. They're living under an ideology that completely imposes its false perceptions on their minds, such that they're constantly demonizing Muslims and saying the Muslims are trying to take over the world. And,
They are dumb.
Idiots go so far as to say the Muslim Brotherhood runs the American media. Roseanne Barr. I mean, these people are just unbelievable how far they'll go. And Netanyahu's speech, everything he says is the inverse of reality. That's the fact about these people. What they do is they throw up what's called, according to Andrew Lobaczewski, what they call them reversive blockades. And that means what you do is say the exact opposite of the truth, so it blocks your access to the truth. And if anything, it makes people think, well, there must be some middle between this and what other people are saying. But it's just a ploy to block the truth by saying the exact opposite. The most moral army in the world that respects Christians, the only place where Christians are saved. Meanwhile, Israel has bombed every Christian church in Palestine. They blew them all up. They bombed them in Lebanon. They bombed them wherever. They spit on Christians regularly. They treat them like dog dirt. They don't like Christians at all. They hate Christianity. Let's be real. This is, Zionism isn't Jews, okay, let's be clear, but it benefits Jews. That's the beneficiary of Zionism, a particular class of Jews, Zionist Jews. That's who's running the show. These are the people that are in charge. They have taken over the U.S. government. Netanyahu, according to Tucker Carlson, is running around the Middle East and elsewhere saying, I have total control of Donald Trump. And he says he has a very good source for this. And then I think it was Cenk Uygur that said, yeah, he has a source saying the same thing, that Netanyahu's running around saying he has Trump in his back pocket. I mean, this is what we're dealing with here. So we have the admission. That's the only thing that Netanyahu has ever said, at least in my recent memory, that is true. He finally spoke the truth here by saying that Trump is completely under his control. So any MAGA people that are still dawdling with the idea that this is some sort of 25D chess, I think you got another thing coming. You can't twist our minds into this pretzel logic with this kind of Hasbara nonsense. We're not going for it. We need to be resistant. We need to continue to immunize ourselves against their onslaught of complete lies and propaganda. They're trying to put us in a virtual simulacra where what they say is reality and the real reality gets utterly displaced by their nonsense, by their lies, by their fictions. And this is an ongoing struggle that takes place at the soul of the individual, as Ian was alluding to, in effect. This is a struggle for your soul. I think it's that serious. And I think it's that, it has those kind of spiritual connotations and meanings as well. That's all I'll have for now. Thanks.
Thanks, Dr. Michael. And you're right. I mean, Netanyahu is literally telling Americans, he's saying, he's not even kind of insinuating, he's using the words, I control America and I control Trump. And MAGA oh no, it's got to be some hidden coded message. Trump's in charge here. And I'm like, what? Seriously? I mean, what has happened? I used to live in America, I love American people, but these lot must have been frigging shipped in boatload because these are not the smart people I freaking knew in America. What is going on? Let's go to Malai. Go ahead.
Oh, hello. I've been waiting for a while. I've been listening fairly well. Number one, I want to respond to Michael for a bit and say if your evidentiary standards is Cenk Uygur, then, man, you don't have much of a standard for evidence of something. I wanted to address two things. Number one, I saw a lot of people, including the host, talk about the Charlie Kirk shooting, basically stating a lot of things without any evidence and without the trials having been, gone into. So I would advise everyone to wait for the trial and wait for people who are supposed to put on the guy who's accused on trial before you run around with half-baked, conspiracies and whatnot. That's number one. Number two, I wanted to address...
Wait. We'll come to number two in a second. On number one, that was very, very vague, right? In terms of, talked about a lot of things without any evidence and, the accused. I take objection to the word accused because I don't think he's actually accused. I think the only thing is he confessed. I mean, that's the FBI's case. Let's open the doors. Whoever comes in and confesses, that's the man we're going to go with. That's our investigation, slam dunked right there. And this is a high-profile killing in America.
He is currently accused of having done the deed. And there has been no trial yet, as of yet. I mean, if he's guilty, the trial will determine that. If he's not, then he will be found not guilty. It is that simple. Now,
what specifically are you saying, by the way, the host is the king of Twitter, Suleiman?
The implications that this was much more I'm not saying the Mossad did it, but bro, there's no evidence anybody did anything to begin with. There's only evidence for this guy, apparently. It's not even that. He hasn't been to trial. There's apparently...
Why are we listening to this guy, Khaleesi? He's completely...
Because you keep interrupting me.
No, shut up. Anybody anybody that runs around with a Javier Malay icon and thinks they're a libertarian is a complete retard.
Look, the bottom line is, if you think we're seeing a trial in this case, you haven't been paying attention to American assassinations, where there will never be a trial in this case. They are going to murder this kid before he ever speaks.
Excuse me. Wait, guys. Wow, that's got interesting. 1 second, we'll come to you guys in a second. Let him finish. Go ahead.
So
your position is...
Hold on, I haven't had a position because I'm telling you there is no trial yet. I want to see the evidence at the trial.
No, I'm talking about that. 1 second. 1 second. So your view, to be clear, is you should not be conversing on this issue, speaking about it, until there's a trial. Correct?
If you had any standards in terms of being ethical,
why have you come on a space to speak about it? Why have you come on a space to speak about it?
Oh, I saw your title, and I simply addressed the fact that you are speaking about something without any evidence in particular.
No, but listen, if your view is, you're not understanding, Javier, let me try and break it down a bit more easier. If your position, which is fine, some people have that position, I have no issue with that. Some people have a position, let's not speak about something until there's a political trial. Whatever happens over the next 2 years,
is that what you people call trials in Pakistan?
What?
What do you mean political trial? This was a...
Oh my gosh, freaking acting true to type. Listen, I know you took the DP and stuff, right? That's like me getting my freaking dragons out. You don't have to behave like a Zio. He's British. He lives in England. Let me tell you something, right? I was going to say this earlier when Ian was speaking, when I was talking about dumb people, that one of the things as well that I've noticed with these dumb MAGA, they think all Muslims come from Pakistan. I'm Muslim. I'm not Pakistani. I'm British. He's not in Pakistan.
I didn't say that, but... This guy literally said a political trial. What the hell is the political...
This guy is the king of Twitter. His name is Suleiman, and he's not based in Pakistan. He's based in the UK.
Listen, Javier, you've come on my space to speak. I don't know who you are. You've got let's look at you. You're a Stan account for Javier Miller, which is kind of embarrassing. You're following 7,400 people, and you've got 682 followers. So, listen, have a bit of humility when you speak the first thing. The second thing is, in terms of the contradiction in your point, which maybe you're too retarded to understand, so let me break it down for you and say it a bit slower. Your point is, you should not be speaking about this because the trial hasn't happened. But then you've come on the biggest space on X to speak about it. You understand the hypocrisy and the flaw and the contradiction of your point, right?
Can I be allowed to address these accusations before you come in and interrupt me again?
Even the way you speak, it's like someone's got something up your ass.
Oh.
I think you're allowed to hit the leave button in the top right corner because my IQ is dropping every minute I listen to your retarded ass.
I think it was pretty low to begin with. But my point is...
I agree with that. The first thing I agree with.
Do I need to be interrupted every time I try to speak?
Yeah, sure, because you're a fucking retard. I can't, Suleiman, I can't deal with this dumb fuck. If you're gonna let low IQ people like this come in here, I'm not gonna be here. This is fucking retarded as shit.
No, Machiavelli, listen. Machiavelli, listen. We call this a commercial break. It's a commercial break. Treat it as a commercial break, right? This is not serious conversation. Go ahead.
I have a question. Milan, do you have a poster of Milan in your bedroom? No, it's a pretty question. Do you have a poster of Milan in your bedroom?
None of your business. But my point is very simple.
That's
right?
a yes.
I told you I did not come in and say, I'm going to speak about this trial, and I'm going to say, no, my position was simple. We don't have any evidence that you were making very definitive statements about some people or somewhere or some state called Israel doing an assassination. You were implying very heavily. You were actually stating...
Where did I make a definitive statement?
When you opened the space, you were
what did I say about Israel's involvement? What did I say about Israel's involvement being definitive? If you understand what that word means.
So you did not open this space when you opened it and claimed
which statement did I make that said that it was Israel definitively? Go ahead, Javier.
Okay.
Which statement did I make that said it was Israel definitively?
I just don't understand.
You don't understand. It's too slow.
Do you have
so let me explain to you because you're too slow, right? So what does the word definitive mean? Let me ask you. This will be more funny. What does the word definitive mean?
Could you not interrupt me every time because this is going to take longer every time you interrupt me?
Well, I'll do what I want. This is my space. Please explain what the word definitive means.
Are you gonna interrupt me again?
Shut the
He did what you were doing again.
Listen, if you say that one more time, you're going to be dropped.
Oh,
so
all right.
answer my question. What does the word definitive mean?
No, I'm not gonna answer it. I was gonna say recognize Somaliland right now, bitches.
Can you define it for fun?
He said he's not going to answer. He said recognize Somaliland right now, bitches. So this is the low IQ. So he didn't know what the word definitive meant. He didn't even understand the point I made at the beginning. If anybody listened to my monologue at the start, I gave you a number of points. I initially explained the flaws in the current narrative. I explained why some people on the right and the far right are very hell-bent on blaming this person specifically and making it into a left-right issue. I then said, if those holes are there, then clearly there seems to be a reason for that. What could the reason be? It looks like the intelligence are trying to cover things up, because why is it none of these things make sense? Why are these holes there? Why have they not been addressed? And if intelligence are trying to cover it up, then the situation becomes, for whom are they trying to cover it up, and what's the motive behind it? And then we discuss that. So I'm unsure how people are so low IQ. It's unbelievable. But this is what I'm seeing right now. Like, the conversation is extremely, extremely low IQ. Like, people don't understand basics.
This guy, like, I mean, Solomon, this guy comes on with a Javier Milei, profile picture. And Javier Milei, he says he's a libertarian. Javier Milei is a complete fraud as a libertarian. Let me just say that. He promised to close the central bank, but what did he do? He actually increased lending from the central bank. I mean, this is a World Economic Forum. Yes, he's a complete fraud.
I agree. I only brought him up. I brought him up. I thought it's like a troll. You know, sometimes you put a picture up of someone where you're doing it as a troll, but you're actually vehemently opposite to that view. There's a lot of people, like, for example, people have the Netanyahu profile, and then it's like the views opposite. That's what I'm bro. Malay's destroyed the country. He's absolutely destroyed the economy. They're looking for a bailout. They're looking for support. We said that was going to happen, and that's not even taking into consideration that he's stripped the country, as my boy Sam would say, asset stripped the country completely and handed it over to the corporations. Like, this guy has completely destroyed Argentina now and in the future. So this whole idea of Milei is just a joke, but he probably doesn't even understand that as well.
He stuck something in the nest before he left. I removed it, and do you know what? If you're still listening, Malay, you came up here like Zio on form to censor, saying do not talk about the case because the guy that's been accused, you didn't understand the point that actually the FBI didn't actually go and find him. He rolled in with his dad and said, I did it. So he confessed. That was the point I was making. And I don't even know what the second point was he wanted to make, but that was a good commercial little break.
Well, I'm dying to talk about American assassinations as soon as you want to get into them, because we have never seen justice for a single one of them in this country. I'm an absolute nobody. I have no following, but I've been following them for 25 plus years. They murdered John F. Kennedy. They blamed it on Lee Harvey Oswald, and then they immediately shot him from Jack Rubenstein, turned him to Jack Ruby. Immediately after was another MK Ultra assassination of his brother Bobby, and then we kind of put those on the back burner until now. We will never find justice for Charlie Kirk. This man is not anything but another patsy. Lee Harvey Oswald said he was a patsy, and this man said that he didn't do it either. We haven't heard a word from this kid. We will never hear a word from him either, and there are a myriad of unanswered questions about this, about 9/11. There are plenty of things, and we don't even need to blame Israel. We don't even need to blame Israel. We can go to Israel for all the atrocities and the war crimes and the crimes against humanity that they are committing on genocide, on Gaza, on Palestine, on the entire Middle East and world now. Our entire government is beholden to Israel. It is becoming more apparent by the day. I apologize for interrupting, and I yield the balance of my time.
No problem, Dan. No problem whatsoever. Why don't you actually go ahead and look, your following doesn't matter. If you know anything about me, I bring people up irrespective of following. The only reason I was saying to that guy was because he was demeaning and being insultive. So I was saying, listen, like, know your role. But like, if you notice about my spaces, the amount of people I bring up who have no following, I don't care about the following, and the amount of people I've made on this space who had no following and I helped them become huge accounts or run spaces or whatever is unbelievable. So I don't care about that type of stuff. And it was more in context of that guy being a knob. But in terms of you, go ahead and do explain your point in detail.
I mean, it's just been infuriating. Living in America, 9/11 was the first thing that woke me up. We were told that it was something that it completely was not. That follows into the 2008 financial collapse, which was all planned. All of this leads back to Jeffrey Epstein, by the way. And all roads lead back to Israel, and it is all connected from an underground, or used to be underground, sex trafficking ring with children that have been actually discovered. We used to tell people about this 25 plus years ago, and they used to tell us the tin hat conspiracy theory, whatever demonization that you could use, and now it actually comes to light, and there's been zero justice, and there will be zero justice. There will be zero justice, zero accountability, because every single one of our leaders is in on it. They all are involved in some way, shape, or form, whether it is directly or indirectly. They're all taking money from Israel, and it is an Israel and Mossad operation that is just the tip of the iceberg for how indebted our United States government and politicians have been to this. I guess you could call them a country. They're a terrorist nation. There is no other way to describe what Israel is doing to the world, what Israel is doing to the United States and the citizens of the United States. We pay our tax dollars. It goes directly to Israel. Follow IPAC is a great account on Twitter, on X, whatever you call it. Sorry, I get worked up. It's a very emotional topic because this is literally a spiritual battle. It's not left, it's not right. It's both sides of the same bird, and we have a real problem, not only in the United States, but in the world, especially when you start getting into the idea that Palantir is and BlackRock owns. I mean, how deep do you have to go to the iceberg to realize that we are done as a people?
But Malay had a chainsaw.
I do want to say the only way forward is if we collectively, wake up, come together as not only a nation, not only America, but the entire world. And you're starting to see it. I mean, you saw. I don't know exactly how many million people were in the London Square in London for that enormous Tommy Robinson protest. Just basically trying to take their country back, or that's what it seems to us in America, highly propagandized, and kind of we live under a dome in our social media. They don't want to show us anything in the mainstream media as far as to what is actually going on. And you won't see anything about the UK stuff on our mainstream media either. It's all the independent stuff, and we just have to.
Oh my God, Dama, listen. Listen. Tommy Robinson is a freaking cock for Israel. He's Mossad. Go look at him with IDF t-shirts on and everything.
Well, that just goes to show how clueless we are in the United States and how little that we know as far as to what is actually going on in the streets. They show us a litany of people trying to what assume to be take their country back, and in essence, other than Nepal, what are you seeing in terms of people rising up and actually saying no to this global dystopia, this hell on earth that is coming? It's coming, and we have very little that we can do about it at this point.
So with Dama, with Tommy Robinson is financed and funded and is an asset for Robert Shillman. Robert Shillman is the guy who was the person who pulled out his funding from Charlie Kirk, and as soon as he died, he decided to refund the TPUSA. So that's the connection, Robert Shillman.
Well, then I guess we're proper fucked then, because it doesn't seem like there's any kind of genuine not uprising, but a collective awakening, if you will say, from the grassroots, I guess, just a genuine one that is not sponsored or state-sponsored, corporate-sponsored by some outside influence, which usually turns out to be Israel.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to, first of all, we have to really identify the enemy, and that has to be done very, very clearly and precisely. So we're looking at a Zionist control. And you can't say Jewish, because what you're going to do is lump people into this control mechanism that aren't in it. So you can call them Zio Jews if you wish. I mean, that's more accurate. They are Zio.
Or remove people out from it. Because I've got my own thoughts on that. I'm going to go into detail about this issue. I understand now why people say it's only Jews and not Zionists, and I understand the kind of agenda behind it. So I'm gonna expose that in about a week or two, but when my new show starts. But sorry, go ahead, Michael.
No, I love that. I can't wait till that comes. So I'll definitely tune in. I think that we're looking at. You're right. I mean, at the apex, it's Jews. I mean, let's be real. But when you say the Jews or something like this brings in all kinds of bullshit, and we're trying to we need to unify, as this Dahmer was saying. We need to unify. The only unifying theme that would unify left and right is anti-Zionism, not anti-Jewishness, not anti-Judaism, none of that, because we need to be very precise. And this is also the kind of language that will bring left and right together, because the left, the real left, as I would say it there, the real left is anti-Zionist. There is a faux left that's not, of course. And then there are a bunch of weirdos, so there's always that. But, that's the only unifying issue as I see it.
It's funny, I used to be a leftist, Michael, and gradually I changed, so just a little funny story.
You're not the only one. I was a Marxist. I was a Marxist for 20 years as an NYU professor, and I had a major turnaround whenever they came after me there for criticizing wokeness, and they showed me what they were. They were totalitarians, and I wanted nothing further to do with them because they wanted to breach my rights. First of all, my right of speech, and they wanted to shut me up and silence me, to control me. So I said, these people can't be my friends, and I became a civil libertarian immediately.
Yeah, I tried the libertarian route for a bit as well. It's demoralizing. It's frustrating. It's a lot of different things, and you can hear the emotion and the anger really in my voice, and because that's how deeply this matters. Let me ask you all a question. What do you think is going to happen with the assassination of Charlie Kirk? Are they going to be able to put the box on this and just move on and shut up, just accept the narrative, accept these ridiculous text messages, which no one talks like that? The Discord, I believe the head of Discord also came out and said that there were also no messages on the server that read like that. There's so many questions about this, and once again, the FBI and government entities are basically saying, shut up, this is what's happening, move on. Is this going to fly this time?
I think it's going to go to court, though, right? It's been...
You will folks, you will never... I'm telling you, you will never hear this kid talk. I don't care if we have to come back and say I said it first. It's not. He will never speak. It is crazy to me that people think that you're going to hear this kid talk.
I mean, they might not make him testify, but you'll see him in court. So...
No, you won't.
Yeah, but it's not
like we'll see the Epstein files in court.
Dahmer, that's what I was going to say. The neatly wrapped bow and just move on to the next thing. You literally had Donald Trump standing next to Howard Lutnick, the former next-door neighbor of Jeffrey Epstein, on camera saying, "We're done with Epstein. That's just a Democratic hoax. Let's go on to the next thing."
Yeah,
there's no shame at this point.
Epstein is dead.
Absolutely.
He doesn't have to appear in court. That's the whole point of killing him, right? So, but this guy is not dead.
It's almost comical at this point how stupid the American government really think that we are, because it's the exact same playbook, the exact same plays from the playbook. Didn't they use the exact same gun for the Kennedy assassination as well, or something ridiculous like that? I'm telling you, if you think that we are going to see this hit a courtroom, you have not been paying attention to American assassination.
What's going to happen? Wait, what's going to happen? We're not going to see it in court.
Somebody's going to kill this kid. Corpses don't talk, folks. It's the CIA's official policy, and it has been ever since the Harvey Oswald.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
I mean, there's a lot of precedent for what he's saying here. I mean, look at the history. I mean, this kid.
But we're discussing
Charlie
it
Kirk.
as if it just happened. Like he just kill the kid. He hasn't died yet, so we shouldn't.
I actually think it's a tee up for a plea deal, because Erica said, "I forgive you," and so I think she's going to be the one that says, let's go ahead and let him plead, do life in prison, and he won't. Either way, he's not going to see a courtroom. He's not going to testify. There's not going to be evidence. And so I think her saying that she forgave him is a tee up to, well, we're going to save money. It's the instant, no probation, no parole, and it's been life in prison. I think that's what's going to happen.
Also, guys, and this is the last thing that I'm going to say, and I apologize for a couple of things, but certainly appreciate you all listening. But there's a reason that the trans thing is back in the news as well for this case, because it's very convenient to have. What is going to happen here is they are going to demonize the left and the radical left trans movement, and you've already got half, if not more, of the country, which understandably so, is adamantly against this ideology. And then when you're already seeing a rise of a rise of quote unquote trans violence with the mass shootings as well. You're seeing that pop up more and more. They are trying to pit the right versus the left against each other. They're going to try to have them destroy each other and hopefully just waltz into the New World Order. Thank you all, and I hope you have a great effort.
Real quick, what they're going to do is they're going to use the animus you just described to try and justify taking the guns from people while simultaneously suggesting people with mental illnesses need to be more carefully monitored, which is very curious because trans ideology just 20 or 30 years ago literally would have had you listed as a person with a mental illness. But
Folks, it wasn't a thing. This is a psyop. This is directly from the CIA. They infiltrated society with this nonsense, and this is the end result.
Well, that was going to be the point, right? They'll use this to suggest that there's mental illnesses on the rise. These people are dangerous. We need to take all your guns. We need to be really careful what you say. We need to identify people that have dangerous thought as being domestic terrorists, prospectively, so we can go and arrest them. And, well, who do you think they're then going to turn around and say are the domestic terrorists? It's going to be the people saying, hey, guys, I think there's a lot of power being held by Jews. What a convenient triangulation of all the things that, again, even if this was a trans shooter, where's that ideology come from? Who sells the medication that's used for the people that go through those procedures? All of it leads back to the same source. They've created their own problems. They have the solution in mind. And to your point, it's the removal of your freedoms, your rights, your liberties, your ability to speak out, and prospectively to defend yourself against the tyrannical government in the event that it becomes such, which clearly we are at the tipping point of.
Absolutely.
And the removal of your testicles.
It is the exact same thing as far as the introduction of government documentation and the stripping of rights. It is the exact same thing that was done after 9/11 with the Patriot Act. One side is going to instill legislation and is going to be used down the road. It's why the Jimmy Kimmel thing is such a huge issue. It's because it's not an issue of what he is saying. It's an issue of free speech in this country. As soon as it dies, there will be no getting it back, ever. And not only that, conveniently enough, they know everything that you're saying, literally, down to the word or down to the letter with this Palantir technology.
Oh, you faggot. Why are you being a stupid head? Come on. Space crash, or was it just me?
And basically said, I didn't get to finish my joke, and he made light of the entire thing, which is just pretty wild. But the point that I was going to make is we had people in here like Mankos, and look, I like a lot of the guy's takes, but we disagreed very intensely on this issue because he was saying it's market driven. Kimmel's been struggling. He doesn't have the ratings. It's about the dollars. And I sat there and I said, no, it's not. It's about normalizing the infringement on your ability to have quote unquote wrong think, right? He said something. We all know that it was incorrect, but nonetheless, he stated it. They then penalized him, but it was a mirage. It was a show to get a bunch of right-wing people excited about the idea that they were going to get him kicked off the air so that they could get a win and get the rush of dopamine, but in the process, normalizing this reality that if you say something that goes against the system, that's out of line, that's wrong think, right? That you can lose your job, you can lose your financial opportunities, you can lose whatever. And I don't agree with what Kimmel said. I think the guy's an idiot, a stooge, and I find it really funny that he was the bastion of purity after having a show with Adam Carolla where before commercial breaks it was literally girls in bikinis on trampolines. That was their
The Man Show. Jimmy Kimmel hasn't been relevant or funny in years. every American knows it. It's not like people are flocking to ABC to watch Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon. These late night shows are an antiquated version of what once was American entertainment. And yes, the network was probably trying to use it as an excuse to get these. They're not funny. Who is watching these people? And now what? You're going to see people flock back to Jimmy Kimmel because he said something that he obviously shouldn't have. It's like I said, it's comical if we weren't living in.
I get there are 150,000 a night. That's it. 150,000. That's nothing. There are more people at the memorial in person than watch a show every night.
So just really quickly, guys, yesterday when Trump was at the United Nations, obviously it was a packed out UN because it was the 80th yearly gathering. The escalator didn't work and the teleprompter didn't. And do you know what? He has released a statement, which Suleiman's team is going to put out in a second, but I'm just giving you the breaking news. Trump has got Secret Services involved. Like, literally, this is what's happening. He's got the Secret Services involved to investigate, and he wants all the CCTV of who was near that escalator and why all these things happened, and it was sabotage. It's just, I mean, this guy, never mind MAGA, he's literally making America a laughingstock across the world. This is unbelievable.
And just on that, guys, there's a tree in the nest. It's showing new footage of the moment the Houthi drone hit Elliot in Israel today. And you can see it. Israel was hit hard. This is by a drone. You can see that in the nest. Do retweet it, reshare it. Also, I want to welcome Simon on the stage. Simon, thanks for joining us. What's your thoughts on A, the current conversation, and B, if you can expand on the failures of Melee? I'm assuming that might be one of the catalysts for jumping on. So go ahead.
Hey everybody. Okay. So look, one quick comment. The reason I think categorizing Zionists is important is because do not alleviate those evangelical Christian terrorist Zionists that are justifying and covering up for the death and destruction and genocide of Palestinians right now in the name of Christianity in order to return the Messiah. And they are murderers, they are traitors, they are terrorists in my book. And so to alleviate them of their crime, I think is an injustification because, and Congress is full of them. They are traitors, they are treacherous, and they're also useful idiots for a bunch of people that are making shit tons of money out of dropping bombs, killing people, and allowing for the systemic rape, massacre, and torture of Palestinians. And so please don't forget those people. And I think there are millions of those across America on top of Jewish Zionists as well. And even those that don't even have a religious ideology, but they engage in the cover-up of this Holocaust that we're witnessing right now. And speaking of Zios, one of those is Millet. Millet is in the middle of doing one of the most elaborate wealth transfers with a pump and dump of Argentinian bonds right now in a country that has literally had their wealth destroyed as a result of the economic hitmen and the Zios and the financial terrorists at the International Monetary Fund that have taken one of the richest, most resource-rich countries in the world. And all they did is that they were neighbors of a country that hosts a dollar, and that dollar is a debt-based Ponzi scheme. And the economic hitmen at the International Monetary Fund decided that they would pillage the Argentinian resources and install incompetent politicians. And to say that he was doing it in the name of free markets, I'll go through it on another time in a more appropriate space. But the amount of money that has been extracted from the government. And what was the first thing he did? The first policy, rather than shutting down the central bank, he decided to take the supplies of Argentina's gold and transfer it to Rothschilds in London. so that they're at the counterparty risk and the host of the Bank of England and the financial terrorists in the square mile city of London. And the amount of the billions of dollars that have been extracted out of people's savings through this very elaborate pump and dump scheme with the Argentinian bonds over the last month or so, it just shows you what all of this is about. And, you know, he can, while he's making the rich richer and the poor poorer with the extraction of resources, none of this is capitalism, none of this is free markets, it's pure crony terrorism using financial weapons of mass destruction in order to extract wealth, not based upon anything to do with free markets, but based upon everything to do with rigged markets. And if you buy into all this ideological bullshit that they're feeding you, you know, around what he's actually doing, then there's no wonder that you come on this stage and say, hey, we shouldn't really speculate on what's going on here. What we should do is we should wait for the trial, and we should put our faith in the government. We should put our faith in the government and the legal system, and make sure that we, you know, because we'll definitely get the truth from the same perpetrators that are involved in covering up what happened to Charlie Kirk right now. So to believe that that's the right approach, then damn, I got a lovely war to sell you, and guess what? You're going to pay for it through inflation as well, because that's the type of thing that you need to do, sit down and believe in order to think that what's happening right now, like, it's just ridiculous. People should speculate. There is no trust. You'll never get the answers. You'll probably get more answers from speculation than that trial.
Wow, man, I'm going to clip this, Simon, and put it on my website with your permission. That was fire. Thank you so much for putting it all clearly.
Milei is Jewish, for what it's worth.
Yeah, I'll throw that one in for Ian. He's a Jewish scientist.
Thank you, my friend. Well, and the only reason I mention this time is because look at who celebrated him, and when I say that, I mean the Western media that kind of came to his beck and call, as did Elon Musk and all the other big guys. It's also laughable. They all got completely in bed to support the guy, to make the move that you just perfectly described, and they fleece everybody, and they just do it over and over and over again, which is the problem in all of this, because the politicians lie, the media protects them, the financiers, or whoever you want to call the Rothschilds, they all benefit, and at the end of the day, just like you said, the middle class, hardworking people are the ones that are fleeced, and they're told to shut up, or else they're basically, they have the lower class weaponized against them to hate on the middle class for merely having the audacity to try and talk about the system that they're all suffering from.
I think there's a difference between saying don't speculate and then there's just some random guy coming up telling us for sure we're never going to hear from the kid. Like, it's been 14 days. I think, you know, we can't just say that, well, there's not going to be a trial. And it's because if it's a case closed, like there was no trial, the kid is gone, he disappeared, poof, he's gone from Earth. Like, just have some patience, you know? And we have common sense, we have the powers of logic and rational thought, we'll be able to see if it's a phony sham trial at that point when we cross that bridge when we get there, right? But
his trans partner did disappear, apparently, according to CLG News. That is, the trans partner has disappeared from their house, and nobody knows where they are.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you had helicopters over your house and news outside 24/7 and the kind of scrutiny that person probably has on them right now, I'd probably disappear too. Or I'd want to.
Just some more breaking news. The tweet in the nest, Tyler Robinson Charlie Kirk's shooter, has appointed a public defender, Catherine Nestor. So he has appointed, he's been given a public defender, which is Catherine Nestor. That tweet's in the Nest, retweet it, reshare it.
She looks like the JD Vance meme.
Right, let's go to Chad Talk. Chad, thanks for coming in. What's your thoughts on the conversation?
Oh, did you say my name?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, how you doing, Sully? Nice to see you.
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Nice to see you, Khaleesi. I haven't seen you in a couple of days. I'm glad that you're here. So basically, I just want to touch on a few things really quickly. As far as what's happening with the hierarchy in society and classism and ideology all clashing at the same time, I hear a lot of different people saying a lot of different things, and I completely agree with all of this, but at the top of that hierarchy, no matter what, there's always going to be politicians, the government, and what some call the deep state. And the question is, how do we either infiltrate that or make it so that that top level of the hierarchy can't always eat off of the lower rung of the hierarchical structure? So that's something I wrestle with a lot, and I don't know how to get that done, but I think that is the only way to get this done. Now, I heard someone speaking, I forgot his name, I think Simon, gave a wonderful monologue, or what have you, and one of the things he touched upon was speculation, and I think speculation is so important. Speculation is actually ingrained in our system because we have to be speculative of everything before we can learn from anything, and I think it's very healthy to speculate. And I do agree that just saying the trial's over, that nothing's going to happen, is jumping the gun. You are being a bit overzealous with your thought process if you're saying that and you're very confident in that. However, I do think that there's two things that can happen. They can either have to prove that there's reasonable doubt, or they move to trial immediately. And if they don't have to reprove everything and they move to trial, like he said, hopefully he gets a fair trial, because I don't think, and I think many others don't think, that he is actually the person who pulled the trigger. The last thing is, the very last thing is about the trans person with whom he is supposedly had a relationship with. This person disappearing is strange. The entire circumstance around this person is very strange. This person apparently was only with the FBI for a couple of hours before they let this person go. Very strange. This person's house is under constant scrutiny, 24/7 scrutiny. Not a second goes by where this person can breathe. Yet you're telling me that this person was able to escape? Very strange coincidence. Let's look into that. And I don't know how this person actually correlates to the case, but I guess we'll see. in the future. I hope. One would hope. I've been doing a lot of research on Amber Robinson, the mom, and her working at ISCS, and how that company, since 2018, that company has brought in millions of dollars, $600,000 to $750,000 a year. That's a steady climb that would look normal if you're reporting it to the IRS, but there are only 5 employees. Those 5 employees have zero internet profile at all. They have zero internet footprint, including Tyler Robinson's mother. And those pictures that went out, they're all cut and paste. When you try to get the EXIF data from those pictures and extract them, all of them are screenshots of a screenshot of a screenshot of a photo.
Did you just cut off, or is it me that you cut off? Okay. Let me bring him back up. 1 second. I can see him. I'll just bring up a few more people as well.
These are
in the meantime, guys, do retweet, reshare the space. Let everybody know we're live. That would be awesome. Where's he gone? Chat.
They're basically public forum chat rooms, public conference calls. and there's all kinds of.
What's Ivy? What's your thoughts on Candace's position?
Well, do you mean in terms of the Bill Ackman sort of story, or that the shooter was like in the trap door underneath the stage and?
Yeah, that trap door thing was fucking gay.
Whatever, go ahead.
Yeah, I think she is definitely upset that she's gotten the cold shoulder sort of by the organization, and she's been left out, and people have tried to distance herself. I think she really runs to the spotlight whenever she can, and it's kind of some of that, right? She tried to get a scoop early. She tried to jump on the bandwagon of Max Blumenthal. She's been having to walk it back. I do think that she's not being helped at all by Fuentes being so staunchly on the other side. I think somewhat cynically. I think he has other motives besides just genuinely believing that Israel's totally innocent and whatnot. He's moving extremely strategically. But she's just become a kind of a kook. I mean, I heard someone say that she banged her head against the side of the rabbit hole so many times she's not even making sense anymore. And I think that's quite insightful. I think she's also under a lot of pressure from the regime corrupting.
That's fine. I think most of this is just like you're talking more from like a drama perspective. But specifics, what are her points that you think are weak, what's strong, like what's your thoughts?
Okay, so I think the points that she made about about not actually seeing the shooter with the gun at all in any of the footage is extremely strong. I think also the fact that people that have experience shooting and with this type of weapon that they say the shooter used have shown themselves, taking the rifle apart and putting it back together, and it does not fit the timeline or the time frame that they're saying that this kid did this in. Also, pointing out obvious things like him leaving the screwdriver up on the roof, but somehow putting it together in the woods. Just certain things that don't make any sense. They just don't make sense. It doesn't matter who it's coming from, and she rightly points that out. I think the whole issue with the offer from Israel and some of the bigger funders for Turning Point USA is somewhat problematic if it's verified. But again, there's been conflicting reports about it. But I do think that I don't know. The footage that she's shown of Tyler Robinson allegedly in the maroon shirt and that kind of stuff, I mean, it does look like the same person throughout all the footage. Again, not seeing him with the actual weapon is a kind of a big point. But her saying that there's two people, I mean, I'm not so sure about that.
Cool. Chad, are you back up? What do you wanna? You got cut off.
Yeah, I don't know where I got cut off. I don't know the last thing that was heard.
I can't remember myself now.
Yeah, but that's okay. Yeah, essentially, I was saying, as a conservative and a right-wing person, I don't want to use the word hate, but I am staunchly against everything Donald Trump is doing right now. I've been debating left-wing people, very radical left-wing people at times, including this morning. Women, men, doesn't matter. And I'm able to hold a dialogue with them, and it's really good because they see a different side of what they would not think is conservative. Someone who is able to look at things and scrutinize them and differentiate between things that have common sense and, love the people first for real, which is what I thought conservatism was, but, it changed apparently. So, yeah, that's it. And the trap door thing that Candace was talking about, I heard that just now. I was able to get the schematics and the capital funding plan for all of the projects that had to be done at the school, and that trap door is part of an irrigation system. So it's not really a trapdoor. It's just a way to get into the irrigation system. No one's gonna pop up from there and shoot anything. I don't believe. And I've been actively working with Trillian and Meow and Moo to get all this information. I've been debunking a lot of this stuff because I think it's important to focus on the actual tangible evidence that you can find, as opposed to over speculating. I think speculation is great, but I think over speculation can obviously hurt, because then you get into the realm of confirmation bias, and the realm of confirmation bias is a very strong realm to be in, and I don't think people need to go there. But that kid.
So did she say? Just a quick question, and do want to continue. Did Candace say it today again about the trapdoor thing?
She did not. No, not today. Today she was talking about bees and bees and how she was surrounded by bees. I mean, I love Candace personally too, but she's at the point where I don't know what the hell's going on with her.
What do you mean bees?
She said bees. She said she has a hunch that bees are. She keeps hearing that bees are a big part of things, and she heard bees, and she told her husband because of the bees she wanted to take her kid out of school, and that there's something terrible coming, and there was going to be a communist attack because the bees were there, and bees have honey, and bees are connected to the Church of Latter-day Saints. I can't make this up.
That can't be right.
I'm not making this up.
Bro,
this sounds fake.
I don't believe it. I need to watch it now. There's no way she said
Play the video. Play the video. I'm not making this up. She said the bees are linked to the Latter-day Saints and whatever. I mean, listen.
So let's be clear on this. You're saying, like, Ian Malcolm thinks it's the Jews. I think it's the Zionists, and now you're telling me Candace Owens thinks it's the bees.
She thinks it's the Latter-day Saints bees. Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's some serious thought abstraction right there. Yeah. The Latter-day Saints.
All right, now that makes me want to go watch the Candace thing from today. So I'm gonna stop streaming the space now and go watch Candace's thing today. I gotta see what the hell he's talking about the bees. So I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Hope y'all had a good time.